Ka-chow, what's poppin', pumpkin heads? It's your boy Sweet Lou back again with the pumpkin arch. Look at, we've got pumpkins growing. Bloop. This is getting pretty big, and it's not alone. There's a lot of pumpkins. These porcelain dolls are members of the white pumpkin family, even though they turn pink. So they're starting off very pale. And they'll eventually go to a white, and they'll eventually go to a pink if they get enough sun. It's a really exciting time in the pumpkin arch. I want to tell you about the maintenance I'm doing. Right now it's all about lacing the different vines together from left and right, making sure they all play nice. So I'll just show you what I'm doing 2 or 3 times a day as I come out here, trying to stay ahead of the vines, make sure they don't crush leaves or overwhelm things or look bad. I'm trying to keep them all so that the vines are on the bottom and the leaves are on top and they don't cause too much of a ruckus. So one of the things I'm continuing to do, which I showed you in a video, is to prune. So I will actively go around and look for junctions where there's a like a bundle of leaf heads that are gonna make a whole vine, and then I'll trim it right there, but I will leave the last flower and the last leaf. And then I've determined that I gotta prune a little bit closer and closer so it doesn't look as bad with this end. But those I think will even regenerate and create a new leaf bundle. So I look for that every day. That's the first thing. So here's another example of when it's still really young. Tiny little head. So I kept that leaf, kept that flower, but trimmed what was going to be a big leaf bundle on a tertiary vine. So that's the first thing I do. And then the second thing I do is to see new vines, now that they've crossed over the top and are coming back down on the other side. I try to make sure that they will, see if you can look dead over the side, these ones that are sweeping out, they're from the other side and they're making their way down. They're arching up as high as they can get, trying to get as much vertical. What I'm trying to do is kind of shove them down and tuck them underneath leaves. So yesterday I took this vine and made sure it was underneath this leaf, which meant prying off the little grabbers that want to get onto the leaves and use them as purchase. So every day I come out here and I tuck the little grabbers underneath the leaf like that. And this just, you have to be fastidious. If you don't do it, they will grab the leaf top and then crunch it up, and they will use that to try to get taller. So then you'll have leaves that look bad, might catch water, might house squash bugs or cucumber beetles for them to hide in. You don't want to make it, you want it to be clean, so it's hard for things to hide. So look at this, this is kind of doing the same thing. So I'm going to take this and try to tuck it underneath this leaf. Right? Okay, so I'm trimming tertiary vines whenever I can find them. I'm trimming anything that goes too far out of bounds, like down here. There's a couple vines that were both, is that a bug? Oh no, that scared me. A couple vines that were both sort of going too far, and I trimmed them after the leaf. Oh, look at this. This is a regeneration. I was just talking about it. Can I get it close enough? Okay. Oh, so this is proof. Okay, so this is a bundle of leaves that marks the beginning of a vine. That'll shoot out, and that will be leaf, pumpkin, grabber vines, male flower, if I just let it go. So I might have to come and snip it. So that's regrowing after it getting pruned because it's got sun on it. And the pumpkin's like, hey, there's sun here, let's grow and grow and grow. So I have to keep up on that. Okay, the other thing I'm doing is some of these vines, as they come down, are really veering off to a side. And so I've got a new technique for that, where I use kitchen twine and garden wire. So I'll show you exactly what I'm doing there. Okay, so from a distance, oh no, sorry, this is vertical. So this is the vine in question that's coming from the left to the right, which is a less successful plant. coming into the more successful plant. And it was really, you can see this twisted arc. It was coming way out of bounds. And so I need to steer it back. But it's a normal, good, this is actually the primary vine of the other plant. So I can't, trimming it's not an option. It's the primary vine, so it's got to really steer it. So what I'm doing is I've got some wire, gardening wire, which is soft. And then I've tied it to some kitchen twine. And then I'm anchoring that to the lattice and using it to sort of tug it where I want it to be. So like the other vines, it needs to be underneath a leaf. So I'll tuck it under that. And then because it was so far out of bounds going north, I don't know why it wants to curve so bad, I need to tug it a little bit back into line. So come on the other side. I'll reach in, I'll grab the kitchen twine, and I'll use that to sort of tug the vine down where I want it just a little bit. And so this is like everything else here. You got to do it gradually, a little bit each day. And then the next day you'll be like, oh, did that loosen up? It didn't loosen up. The vine learned what its new constraints were and then accommodated. So if I only did it once, it would probably go back to where it was. So every single day. Not only that, but the primary vine is growing as well. So it will adjust, and then I just have to move it every single day. So then I'll tie this off at the bottom with like the softest little knot I could. Nothing super serious because I want to be able to adjust it rapidly every day. That's it. So this is the maintenance. Now for these pumpkins that are growing up here, I'm going to experiment. They're hanging from a vine top, but they're growing very fast. So there's a possibility that, especially these ones at an angle, they will rupture, they'll rip right up here as the pumpkin gets heavy, especially if it gets too heavy too fast. Part of what I'm doing to counteract this is letting a lot of pumpkins all fruit at once, as many as I can. That way they'll all be kind of small and they'll all nudge forward very slowly. So you won't have just one pumpkin that's got explosive growth. But I'm going to let them go and go and go until one falls or is damaged. And then I will work on supports for the others. I want to learn what their capacity is for dangling. And then once I know that, I'll know when they're getting into danger. But right now I don't know. I've never worked with this particular pumpkin in this way. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is watching every day. This is my favorite. This guy's hanging straight down. If he rips, it will be circularly from the top. So we'll see. So it's a really exciting time. These are the ways that I'm maintaining its growth. If I looked away for 3 days, there'd be squished leaves, there'd be vines going over. It takes sort of fastidiousness. So if you're trying to do this on your own, make sure you have time to give the garden the love it needs. All right. Oh, while we're here, we'll check in on the Big Mac's pumpkin. I'm using these 2 chairs here as a sort of improvised doggy gate so that our dog doesn't try to run right over this pumpkin because it's right in the middle of everything. But here's our pumpkin. Boop. That's a Big Mac's. Could get up to 100 pounds, and it's putting on weight. It's about the size of bigger than a softball, smaller than a recess ball. Yeah, I've also done some trimming here, which I want to do with the other plants, because I know how bad squash bugs can get and how hard it is to find them. I'm trimming away old flowers and dead leaves close to the bottom of the stalk, and keeping it as clean as possible, even though that lets more sunlight get onto the dirt. I'd rather keep it clean and easy to see at a peak, especially because I can't give so much love to this plant. Try to stay ahead of pests. One more thing that's concerning is today I found and drowned 2 cucumber beetles, and we're actually growing cucumbers and other squash, melons, and pumpkins are all in the cucurbit genus. And so they share pests. So cucumber beetles will also eat squash. They have favorites, but they'll branch out. So we found a cucumber beetle on the cucumbers, which is to be expected. But these leaves are very small and kind of hard to get. They're low and they're hard to get under and look for eggs. So I'm kind of ready to kill this whole plant if it gets infested rather than risk the pumpkins. So every day I'm really looking at it with a jaundiced eye. But hopefully at least we'll get one cucumber. Do you see it? Ah, there it is. Boop, boop, boop. So that's doing well. The other vines, we have other melons that are actually starting to grow in exciting ways that are down here. Oh, by the way, our green beans are all here. We've got a little experiment with this green bean. This is the name of this is Provider breed of green bean. And I don't know how big they get. So we've been eating these, been having like a bean hot pot every couple days. It's really delicious, but they might be young, they might not be fully ripe. So we're letting this go as like an experiment, see how big they can actually get. So that's probably at least 5 inches, I don't know. Pretty big. And the corn is coming up. We actually we've got the ears themselves growing. So if you look here, that's an ear. See, this is the stalk, and this is the ear starting to come off. And you can pinch it around the bottom and feel the ear of corn going. And yeah, you can see we've got some bird scare tape. It doesn't scare away the birds that are already eating the broccolini that has gone to seed, but hopefully it'll keep any from starting on the corn. It may be too late for that. But yeah, here's our vines. These are melons. This one that was going way off, I pruned in the same way I've been pruning the others because I don't want it to go that direction and it's gone too far to turn. But these I want to go along there and sort of mulch the ground so it can hold on to what moisture it gets. Yeah, oh, and then this one is actually vining up the trellis unexpectedly. I've been helping it along, doing like a over under because they really wiggle. And there's something nice about this trellis shape here. They're long, wide rectangles. The ones on the cattle panel are closer to squares, but this long, wide rectangle has a benefit, which is that you can sneak a vine out from under it by going sideways and then tuck it back up and then point it straight up, and it will want to grow up and it won't sneak itself back. So you have, by having that room to actually go out to the side and go back up, it's got more control. So I see why they had this here, the previous owners. Yeah, but it's just a really beautiful, exciting time. I'm out here checking it 2 or 3 times a day. The fact that I've got pumpkins growing above my head in this beautiful arch is, yeah, it's really fantastic. Okay, all right. It's a long one. Thanks for catching it up with me. And I'll catch you later, Pumpkinhead.